Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Crypto Philanthropy, your guide to crypto-powered change. Nick Mikulewski from The Giving Block here, and really excited for another great episode today. We have one of the crypto philanthropy OGs from the space. Very excited to welcome our next guest to the show, Ian Meyer, Director of Foundation Engagement at Direct Relief, probably a name that many of you know. Ian has been at the forefront of helping the world's leading humanitarian organizations embrace innovation in fundraising, including playing a key role in building Direct Relief's relationship with the Giving Block and expanding the organization's ability to accept crypto donations, something that everybody has been very curious about this year. His work has helped unlock new ways for donors to support communities in need around the world. And before Direct Relief, Ian worked across sustainable investments and community development, focusing on projects that combine technology, sustainability, and long-term social impact. So, Ian, thanks so much for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, Ian, why don't you get us at the start of the journey? I mean, your work in philanthropy, your background, and how that led you to Direct Relief. Can you give us a little bit of an update on where you got started?
Yeah, absolutely. So, originally kind of came out, I had a financial background, but I was always looking to do something a little better for the world. And I ended up kind of changing focuses a little bit from finance to international development. That led me into the philanthropic space, where I worked with a number of foundations for a number of years, kind of developing portfolios and what I'd like to call efficient philanthropy. Since then, I kind of went back to my finance roots, and I really kind of landed on this intersection of finance and social returns, the impact investing space. It's called many names. And that kind of came with it this lens of sustainability throughout everything we're doing, building systems and leaving them better than how you found them, making sure that they're able to last. And so that really followed me, or I followed that, maybe is more accurate, throughout my entire career through a number of different companies and career choices and swings and roundabouts. And it wasn't until I landed at Direct Relief about 3.5, 4 years ago that I was really able to find a really good home where I could expand on that skill set and really make sure that the work I was doing was highly catalytic, highly leveraged, and that the allocation of resources were just that much more efficient and that much more sustainable. And that's kind of how I ended up at Direct Relief here in Santa Barbara, California, which is also a wonderful place to live as well, which doesn't hurt. So, yeah.
Well, I also had a circuitous finance route. I did the finance thing for a number of years, ended up going into the compliance side of things and sort of the asset tracing side of things, and eventually, wound my way into crypto. And of course, it's always nice having a front row seat to philanthropy, and your organization's been, at the forefront of doing a lot of great work. I guess for the audience that might need a little bit of a refresh, I mean, Direct Relief does a number of things, but can you just sort of distill like the mission, the kind of work that you all are doing in emergency response and across the healthcare sectors globally? Would love to just get a quick synopsis on Direct Relief's mission.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. So Direct Relief is a global humanitarian aid organization that focuses on the health space. We've been around for 78 years, closing in on 79 years. And essentially what we do is we provide medical resources, medicine, medical equipment to a network of over 2,500 healthcare partners throughout the world. We operate in over 90 countries, and we provide them exactly what they need to serve their stakeholders, their populations. Now, our partner network are focused on what we like to call like the most vulnerable communities. So they could be, like, for example, in the US, they're part of the US safety net, federally qualified healthcare centers that serve low to middle income populations, are rurally based, people who have difficulty accessing healthcare facilities. And so we will provide them with whatever medical needs and resources they need. And then internationally, the same thing. We work with ministries of health in sub-Saharan Africa and majority of the countries. We work with other nonprofits, making sure that they get what they have. And we do that all based out of our warehouse here in Santa Barbara, where we have like 150,000 square foot warehouse. And we take donated pharmaceuticals, donated medicines, donated medical equipment. We store them in our warehouse, and then we let our partner network know we have them available, and they request them and we ship them. And it's free of charge for them. We do all the paperwork. We operate on very much a trust-based philanthropic approach where we take the onus of doing all of that legwork, the logistics, just to ensure that our partners, who are often like a small clinic with maybe one doctor and two nurses, they don't have time to fill out paperwork and customs forms and run through inventory lists. So we take care of that and we just make sure that they have the resources they need to serve their populations.
Got it. Okay. So whether it's domestic, international, you use that term safety net in terms of talking about your communities, but also direct relief, it has to be a pretty large safety net as well, as you mentioned, for people who don't have the resources, the time, or the ability to go through the proper channels. You
Right.
all are kind of that core team, that support that they can come to, and so I guess your role in these strategic partnerships seems to be pretty important in terms of providing a really easy way for those individuals or those organizations globally to get what they need the moment they need it. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it. It's getting the right medicine to the right people at the right time. That's one thing we're really, really good at. We operate in over 90 countries, all 50 US states and 4 to 6 territories. And we operate at speed and at scale. A lot of people know us for our disaster response. And that's something that we do and have done for many, many years. We're currently responding to the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We were responding to the Los Angeles wildfires last year. We've been active in conflict zones. So, for example, we're now entering our 5th year of humanitarian aid in Ukraine, or close to 5 years. We've shipped, I think, over $2 billion worth of aid into Ukraine since the start of that conflict. So that recognition, that kind of consistency, that sustainability, where we go into places like Ukraine, like these emergency response initiatives, and we stay there. We try and be there before, during, and after. And I can break that down a little better for you. Before means that we've been dealing with disasters for decades. And we're now getting pretty good at identifying where disasters will happen next. Because unfortunately now in today's climates, it's not if, it's when. And so we have just an enormous amount of data. We have a dedicated team here that will actively look and predict where wildfires or where hurricanes are going to go. And we actively ship goods and medicines in advance of those things. So we try and get there before. That, coupled with our existing partner network of over 2,500 people, and just making sure that we're reaching out to clinics, whether they're in Zambia or whether they're in Indonesia or Ukraine, or it could be just down the road in Santa Barbara to a local clinic, making sure that they know we're here to help. They're bought into our system. They have access to our portal so they can see what kind of medical supplies we have. That is like the ton of prep work. Then during is where we really kind of bring the whole engine together, where we're not only shipping aid, we do grant making as well. So we do roughly $40 million worth of grants a year, it's rare for a nonprofit to do that. So we have our own, what we like to call funds. We have a health equity fund that will provide grants to healthcare clinics and partners who do trainings and other things with vulnerable communities. And we do emergency response grants. And that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. We oftentimes in an emergency, the first resource that they need, regardless of if they're a hospital, a clinic, or a food bank, is they need cash. They need to be able to put gas in their car so they can get to work. They need to be able to keep the lights on. They need to be doing all of these things. Medicine will go a long way to help people, but if they don't have the capabilities to provide the medicine, so that leads to the after, where we try and focus on the whole healthcare system, the whole healthcare infrastructure. So the idea is that as we're going in and we're responding and we're working with these partners, we're improving their own infrastructure, their own resources, so that maybe down the line they don't need as much help, leaving them better off than when we found them. And for that reason, oftentimes we stay in these disaster zones with these partners for years, 5, 6 years, 10 years, making sure that they are ready to kind of go out there and do it on their own. And that was one of the things, tying back to your original question about allocation of resources and sustainability, that I really appreciated about direct relief the most.
I learned something new here. I didn't realize that Direct Relief played sort of like a global safety steward. I didn't know much about the advance work and the fact that you're sort of monitoring what's happening when and positioning resources where things may happen. And I really appreciate how you sort of outlined like the before, the during, and the after. I have to imagine over the years and decades you've been doing this, there's been ways to kind of like hone and I don't want to say perfect because it's hard to sort of perfect things that are always changing, but just the
Always a little
experience.
chaotic. Yes.
Yeah, the experience that you've probably built up over these several years has to at least make it rewarding to just know that you're getting better at the pre, the during, and the post. I guess my next question is like, so having sort of this long arc of experience, you've seen a lot of changes in like the technology and on the philanthropy side, I absolutely agree. Like when those hotspots hit, like cash is just what's needed to, as you said, keep things moving and getting the goods to where they need to be. How have some of those trends changed over the years? And how have some of maybe the innovations on the fundraising side helped you to sort of put more things out in the field when you need it?
It's a great question. And I think the key word in that was the innovation, right? It's just like that's where direct relief has always tried to be. We're always trying to be innovative. We're always trying to be like that small startup company where we tackle problems with a different kind of lens. We're a listen first organization. So, like, that's the most important thing where we really rely on our partner network, the trust that we have built with them over the decades of working with them for them to tell us what they need and how to respond. And then it's our job to take that and with innovation and the technology that we use. We have our new CEO, Amy Weaver, who just joined us over a year ago. And she was president and CFO of Salesforce, one of the most innovative tech companies that we have around today. And she's now leading Direct Relief. So like innovation is close to our heart, and it has been for years, but we're now embracing that and the technology side. So as that refers to fundraising, technology now is just accelerating at such a rapid pace. We feel like it's of critical importance for a nonprofit, the same way as for a business, is to keep up with this. So we are employing and dedicating resources to improving our own technology, improving our own innovative systems. And that kind of grows across multiple things. That's addressing needs. So like we can maybe address like a small percentage of the need of one of our partners. So then we use artificial intelligence, or we use our network of partners, and we use our data metrics impacts team to look and analyze this data to see how we can decrease the amount of need that they have by increasing flows. So that can be efficiency in supply chain. That can be getting access to the better products, the right products, quicker, sooner. And to do all of that, right, this is the real crux of it, is we need to raise money, just like any other nonprofit. And we need to be able to raise money quickly. And nowadays, with today's technology, things pop up and then they leave. Like, the news cycle, it's you blink and you may miss it. So we have to have the ability to act really quickly and really fast. And we need to get the information in front of our donor base. Luckily, we have a wonderful donor base who know and trust us and kind of follow us already, to the point where we get contacted a lot. It's like, hey, what are you doing on this? Or do you have any recommendations on doing that? And that's like the golden win for us in our role here. But in order to do that effectively, we need the technology behind that. And so, for example, I know like Giving Block does one of those things to have that ability. Like when I first saw like the widget and the ability to have that on the website, and the crypto side of it was definitely really important, and how quickly and how easy to facilitate that. Because that money comes in, and then 100% of that money is immediately designated and goes out to that crisis, that response, that program. So we have the ability to turn crypto. 24 hours crypto is in somebody's crypto wallet, and it comes through Giving Block, it comes to us, and then it's literally on a plane or on a FedEx truck, leaving as medical supplies within 24 hours, 48 hours. So that speed and the technology that allows us to operate at that level and that scale and that pace is critical to what we do at Direct Relief.
Yeah, and I think you even answered one of the questions I had kind of brewing in my head around when things do crop up. This innovation in technology, certainly the extension into how people are giving digitally and the speed at which they can give digitally. And as the market is now involved into cryptocurrency donations, just the ability to get that critical cash needed for when those hotspots hit. I can imagine that it's been a useful tool in the direct relief toolkit to basically bring all assets to bear, whether it's financial or logistical assets,
Yeah.
to just continue to power the types of things that you want to do. And I know crypto donors are so mission driven, they're so
Right.
mission focused, they rally around emergency situations. So I can definitely see how the crypto community's embraced an organization like Direct Relief that's got such a strong reputation in getting things done when they need it.
Yeah. And I mean, for us, it's really about meeting donors where they are, right? It's like we don't expect donors to come find us, although they do. We are very active and we go and we try and meet donors halfway. And crypto is one of the key spaces, and it's going to continue to grow and be one of the key spaces moving forward, without a doubt. But also, like the other day, I helped this lovely donor who had an old car, and she's just like, I want to donate my car. So it's like, okay, let's figure out how to get this done. And she donated her car to Direct Relief, and it was wonderful, right? It's just like, I don't want to use it anymore. I don't have any cash, but I have a car. Will you take that? And so, like, something as simple as that, and then translating that through to crypto with the ability to scale. I think, like, bringing it inside and like working internally within Direct Relief to kind of embrace this idea, this new technology, it took a little bit of education and it took a little bit of learning and to bring everybody on board. It wasn't for everybody, but it's now growing. And I think leveraging certain things like I think it was last year or maybe a couple of years ago when the mainstream banks started creating these cryptocurrency ETFs. Like, this is mainstream, this is happening. So the new technologies where you're going to be able to like pay point of service, being able to pay using your crypto funds. Like, this is the way the world's going. Direct Relief, like trying to be innovative, is looking at this and saying, we have to meet these donors where they are. So we're embracing this technology now and doing what we can to grow, and learn. And as we learn, we educate as well. So that's everything from our website, just letting donors know effectively how to do it and how much it costs and how efficient it is, like the tax benefits of donating crypto as a real asset versus, cash. These are all part of this journey and part of this meeting the donors where they are.
Yeah. So I guess, Ian, where do you see kind of digital giving and philanthropy kind of evolving over the next coming years? Where do you see it kind of headed?
It's a good question. I mean, it could go a lot of different directions. I wish I could wave a magic wand and know exactly where it's heading. I'd be really good at my job then. But we can make some pretty safe bets. The fact that it's all mobile right now is the main thing. It is anywhere, anytime, any place, in the middle of the night, whether you're in the car, on the train, whether you're traveling in a foreign country, you can literally just pick up your phone and you can make a donation and you can have all the news at your fingertips. So gone are the days where, you sit around at the end of the year and you're like, okay, it's time to make my charitable donations for the year before, this. It's just like, it's instantaneous, it's ever present. So that is something really critical. And in order to do that, you got to keep the education going, you got to keep things moving forward. So having that mobile technology is great. And some of the trends we're seeing here is, it's generational. The younger generations now are becoming really like civically conscious, civically minded, and they find, and like you said, they're mission driven. They find these causes that they care deeply about, and they follow and they actively research and they do their due diligence, and then they actively pursue. And whether it's a $50 donation or a $50,000 donation, we at Direct Relief, we take them equally the same, because it's not about the amount, it's about the trust that somebody is willing to impart on us to be stewards for their money and create that impact that they're looking for, which is really important to us. And so, like, moving forward, the mobile and the generational kind of shifts and mindset is something that we're looking really closely at and trying to expand upon.
Yep, we're seeing those same trends, and it's really interesting. It's very rewarding to think that there's easier ways to make transformational gifts or just gifts in general. Like you said, the younger generation just being so online and conscious and willing to make those gifts as and when that moment of generosity strikes, whether it's from continually learning about a particular organization or the type of work you're doing, or it's just one of those moments of I'm gonna say impulse, but just impact that kind of hits, and they've got all the technology, everything at their fingertips
Right.
to send $50 or $50,000 to a
Yeah.
cause they care about. So I think it's a exciting time for folks that are doing the type of work that you're doing on the ground, just having the ability to draw from support when it's needed in hopefully an easier time than maybe trying to do this all over email back in the 90s or checks and wires and things like that. This has to be a little bit more of like an easier thing to get your hands on. I would
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's about meeting the donors where they are, right? That's the real key there is people want to donate. They want to do good. They want to help. They want to create impact. And part of our role is just to make that as easy as possible for them by creating that trust, that confidence. So.
All right. So, Ian, Direct Relief's doing a lot of great things all around the world. There's certainly a lot of need for things that are going on right now. If folks want to learn more about what you're doing, maybe where the biggest need areas are, where can they learn more about you and Direct Relief and the kind of work you're doing?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. So I think obviously our website is the best place to go is www.directrelief.org. Those who are interested in crypto, it's www.directrelief.org/crypto. That's a quick one. Our website has our own news feed on it. That's actually on Apple News as well. Really easy place to follow. You can follow that on Apple News and on our website and to stay up to date with all the recent articles and work that Direct Relief is doing. And then, of course, on social, we're on X and Instagram and all the social media platforms. There's always a great way to stay up to date with that information. And then if you're ever in Santa Barbara, it doesn't matter who you are or where you are, come knock on the door. We will give you a tour of the warehouse. We will tell you about what we do. We are really proud of the work that we do here, and we love showing people what we do it and how we do it. And short of that, what I always say is just hey, tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is still really powerful. And it's just if you had a good experience with Direct Relief, tell your friends, tell your buddies, tell your family. And hopefully we can extend that same experience to other people at the same time.
Well, for the crypto folks that are out there listening or see this on socials, they love seeing this in action. So for the folks in California that have donated, California being such a big epicenter for the crypto community, I mean, you heard it from Ian, reach out, get a tour of the warehouse, see where all this cryptocurrency actually turns into real, tangible help. I know the crypto community loves that. And thank you, everybody who's rallied for great causes that Direct Relief's been working on. Ian, thanks so much for joining the show today. And we really appreciate the time. And for everybody else, we'll see you around the next episode. Thanks, everybody.